Yeah, that's what I think I'll do, yeah.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Cameo podcast. I'm recording fourth today because these next guests of mine, a bit of pain in my neck. They've been after me for a couple weeks now, but we made it happen. They have something going on. I don't really know what. So they wanted to come on the podcast to promote that. And I got 2 bars of battery because I didn't swap out my batteries, but that way I can keep them on a leash. But this episode is brought to you by ReadyAtDoor.com. Use promo code CAMEO for $5 off your first order. Get some good, delicious Kamloops eats. ReadyAtDoor.com. So, my guests have graciously got me a ginger ale, and they got themselves, I'm assuming, Americanos, because it's at the time of night that it's all Americanos.
He knows his guests really well.
So, they're gonna talk into the microphone itself. There's 3 of them. There's 1 microphone, but they run the open mic at the Commodore. It's Patrick who reached out to me, so I'll introduce Patrick first.
Oh, yeah. So, well, my name's Patrick, and then with me I have 2 guys that actually brought me into the open mic scene in Kamloops, or I guess at the Commodore. But I got Alex sitting right beside me.
Hey, how you doing?
And then we also have Paul, who's been doing open mic at the Commodore for some time now.
Yeah. Hello.
So, what is an open mic for someone who might not be familiar with the concept?
Well, essentially what an open mic is it's a venue, it's a platform where performing artists can essentially showcase their talent. I mean, for the most part, when people think open mic, they think music, which traditionally that's what it is. We have a lot of guitar players, a lot of singers come up. We've had a few pianists. But one thing that we have at the Commodore as well is we've had a couple comedians come up to do their thing. We've had some poets come up whether they do it just vocals, or there's been a couple times where they've asked us as well, like, hey, can you play a little beat in the background? Because the other thing that we do besides host it is we're also kind of the in-house musicians as well.
Is this a really good spot for people to come and express themselves as original artists, whether it be spoken word or like music, magic, anything really?
So what drew you into the open mic thing, and how long you've been in it? It's Andy, right?
It's Paul.
Paul, I'm sorry.
That's all good.
I'm going to make up names for you all night long.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
Andy now.
Samantha in the corner there.
I've been doing it for I've been going to them for probably about 3 or 4 years, and then I started running it probably about the last year or so. And what drove me to it is just that, like, it's a really non-judgmental, good way to express yourself. It's me, myself, I've been playing guitar and writing songs for probably 10 years now. So, yeah.
And so this is Monday nights?
Every Monday night at the Commodore. The only 2 Mondays that we haven't done this year were Christmas Eve and New Year's, because, of course, New Year's for a place like that is one of their biggest money-making nights, and they turned more into a traditional club that night. But, yeah, every Monday night.
And what separates us from the other open mic nights in town is that we're trying to provide something for everyone, a guitar with many different factory pedals, acoustic guitars, basses, keyboards. We're trying to get it so everybody can feel a part of it.
So you're all mic'd up. You're like, you're a lot fancier than my little podcasting setup we're using right now.
It works. It do. Yeah. No, the one thing, we've been to, I used to run an open mic actually here on the North Shore a long time ago. Just for a little bit. It didn't turn out so well. But the one thing, and I've been to a couple in town, like Tumbleweeds has one, Pogue Mahone's has one. But the thing that separates Commodore from the rest of them is that you have essentially a full backline. Like, whether you're a drummer, whether you know how to tickle the ivories. I'm a left-handed guitarist, so there's a left-handed guitar there, which I think we might be the only open mic in BC, if not Canada.
So open mics provide the instruments as well?
Oh, yeah. Unless you have a
that.
specified instrument. Like, we've had an accordion player come up. Ukulele. If it's something you'd find in a traditional music venue, so again, drums, piano, bass, guitars, it's going to be there. But, actually, one of the people that comes out quite often, Mark, he actually brings an Akai beat pad and a loop pedal. So he does kind of these acoustic redos of pop songs, like, Daft Punk's Get Lucky. He does
interesting.
That. And he does it really, really well. And the one thing, too, is, he actually does some music as well at the Commodore. I believe on Wednesday nights they host like an electronic night there. But so one thing that he does is his setup time, his setup and takedown time is really quick, and that's the one thing that we've always been kind of a little hesitant towards. Like if it gets too complicated, because that's the thing with open mic and creative people, because sometimes the tools you need are simple or the tools you need are complicated. Like for example, what we have here, like this is awesome. It's portable. It's quick. It's easy. But for something like mine, for my electronic stuff, like that's a couple trips to and from the car to bring it all out, and it'd take forever to set up. So that's one thing we want any person or any musician or performer in Kamloops to come out, check it out, and showcase their talent. But we just remind, like, hey, we do have to keep the night going because there is a lot of creative people there. So if you do want to bring some stuff, just to take down and setup time is as minimal as possible, kind of deal.
What's one of the more memorable acts that you've had that come to mind?
I don't know. Personally, we've had a few hip-hop artists come up, and they ask us to just play a beat, and we all know music theory enough that we could just go and say, okay, look at each other, and provide a beat in the back, and they start rapping to it, and it's incredible. And
any names that I know? I'm pretty familiar with the local hip-hop scene.
Actually, nothing... Well, I'd like to invite Kairos and Cody to come out one time.
I know Kairos and Cody.
I was doing a lot of research today. I came in prepared. We've had there's another guy who's talking about starting a record label up out of Vancouver, Tyler. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like for any Kamloops hip hop artists, like come on out too, because we have a way where if you have the beat on your iPhone or MP3 file, we have a way where we can plug it into the board and you can essentially do your song live.
Yeah, which is something a lot of hip-hop artists these days like to hide behind their SoundCloud link. So actually, right here was with Saint Nick 666. His name's Nick Heidinger. He's a videographer and hip-hop artist. So I'll try and send him your way. Yeah. Make him listen to the episode. What event? Wasn't there something coming up big that you wanted to promote?
So. We and the business that is Commodore has decided to go and work with us to make a charity event with the Royal Inland Hospital Foundation called Fight for Mental Health. Yeah. So it's going to be on the 28th, very last Monday of January. Some things, I went and wrote up a few things that I've learned about mental illness because I've went and did my homework. Mental illness indirectly affects all Canadians at some time through a family member, friend, or colleague. In any given year, 1 in 5 people in Canada will personally experience a mental health problem or illness. It's estimated that 10 to 20% of Canadian youth are affected by a mental illness or disorder. And the single most disabling group of disorders worldwide, by age 40, 50% of Canadians will have a mental illness. And of that percentage, 1% will have schizophrenia. We're like so new into the research that is mental illness, and we want to go and try and bring a light upon it and try and help it within the community. But at the same time, we're going to go and try and promote music and promote the community that is Kamloops. So
totally. Yeah, I was going to say, like, shit, that was the most prepared anyone's ever been on this podcast, myself included. And, like, I've had the fucking mayor on this podcast.
That's one thing. I was listening to I think it was, when you were talking to Kairos, one thing he was talking about, you two were talking about, like, the hot thing the hot thing in music right now is being open about mental health. Like, a lot of rappers, you guys were talking about mental health. And, before mental health, there was that stigma around it. Like, it means you're schizophrenic or you're paranoid or it's, just depressed. Yeah. Where now, like, we realize, like, it's a broad spectrum, and, like, there's someone in my life that deals with some pretty bad anxiety, which technically falls on the spectrum. Yeah. Of
technically, I have anxiety, but
and it's not. It's for anyone. We're doing this event because musicians and mental health kind of go together hand in hand in a way.
And the Commodore has always been really good at, like, helping out with these ticketed events or whatever it be. I've been to a few that Jessica Wallace from Kamloops This Week has put together, and, like, they're great supporters of anyone who puts on an event and has a
they
something
are
I want to put.
Like we originally we were talking about doing this doing a charity event. I guess what was it, back in November or October kind of deal? Yeah. So it had been a while, but eventually we told the Commodore, like, we'd like to do a charity night. You guys pick something that's close to you, close to your heart, that you want to support. And then they came back to us like, yeah, we'd like to do something for mental health. And here we are. And once they said that, it's like, yeah, like that's something I think everyone can get behind, is helping people that are dealing with stuff that you can't see. It's behind.
Shout out Chris Monteleone, who's been on the podcast too. Yeah.
I think a lot of people know people that have been affected by mental health at some point in their life, whether it be themselves or their friends and stuff. So I think it's just a really good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely at the forefront of a lot of talk right now, myself included. So I haven't taken any antidepressants in a couple weeks. I decided not to just use cannabis, but that has its own problems. But hey, whatever.
Cannabis has its treatments too, though.
Oh, it has its treatments too.
It helps.
Oh yeah, I got my vape pen and.
It's legal now.
Well, not the stuff I smoke, so. But
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. No, I think Kamloops is also really interesting and needing some vibrancy in the arts and culture scene, and everyone likes to complain, so it's cool to see you guys are doing stuff, though I haven't got out to your night just yet. But it'll happen. It'll happen.
All in due time.
I'm working on a radio call-in show. Yeah.
So
you guys will be able to, if I ever go live while you guys do stuff, you'll be able to phone on in. It'll be like patch you through into the Facebook lands.
Now here's Wonderwall on 710.
Yes, just Wonderwall.
Just Wonderwall continuously on a loop.
I actually, when I managed an office, the running joke was no Wonderwall. And so whenever it came on, everyone had to run to the stereo and hit next on the Spotify playlist. So.
Well, it's funny, like the two most requested songs, because a lot of people go up and like, oh, do you know this song? Do you know that song? During open mic when we're playing or someone else is playing, and the two most requested songs always are Wonderwall and Freebird. And anyone who's ever owned a guitar at some point has learned Wonderwall.
I'd say Landslide and Riptide.
Landslide. Okay, so Landslide coming up, but
Landslide,
Freebird, and Wonderwall, and yeah.
Well, the cool thing that we bring at open mic too is that if any singers come up and they don't know how to play and whatnot, sometimes they'll make requests and we'll play it for them. And
we'll totally adapt.
Yeah, we adapt to anybody that comes up. We want all artists to feel equal. So.
And also, like, if there's anybody that wants to come and play guitar or bass or just jam with us while we're playing, you can totally come up and play with us at the same time.
Yeah, and is there a cost to get in, or
no? It's absolutely.
You can sit there awkwardly drinking water from.
We have had some people do that. And the other thing we do too is we'll go around, we'll ask the people that we see in the venue, like, hey, this is what the event is. We do this every Monday. Do
most
you
join?
Yeah, most do. Yeah, we'll say like, this is what we're doing. Do you play an instrument? Do you want to get on up there?
Like I said, it's a really good spot for people to come up and be like unjudgmental and just perform, right? So it's really good to support the crowd, to come up there. So.
Have you had any magicians?
Yeah, actually, a guy named Ryan, part of Kamloops Street Magic.
Wait, there's a Street Magic.
There's this. Yeah.
Tell me more about Kamloops Street Magic.
Oh.
Well, I don't really know much about his page actually, but it's Ryan is his name, and he's really good at doing card tricks and stuff. And his Facebook page is Kamloops Street Magic, and I think there's a couple people in that group, right?
Oh, okay.
But he goes around town. I've seen him a couple places actually. So
he's quite talented. He actually goes and he has this one trick where he puts a card in his mouth, and he puts a different card into another girl's mouth. He chewed the card up, and then pulled out the girl's card from his own mouth.
It's some crazy.
He's mind freak, and he's the most gentle, nicest guy in the world. Yeah. So,
super friendly. Yeah. Well, the other good thing too about open mic, whether you show we get to experience it a little more since we're part of it and we host it, but showing up too is you get to meet a lot of creative people in Kamloops, like a lot of musicians, a lot of.
Yeah. Two famous people that came, or not famous, but the professional guys, like the keyboard player.
Oh yeah. We had these two guys that were part of a Ray Orbison cover band that were traveling. They travel across Canada, and Mike Demers, that was his name, Mike Demers. Yeah, and we've got to meet some really incredible people. That the cool thing too. Rydell, yeah.
Well, the cool thing is that they're hearing about it from like out of city, and they're like, oh, Kam's got this Commodore open mic, and it's like infamous. It's kind of nice that these people are coming up and joining in from other towns because they hear it's so great.
Yeah, it's super cool to be like renowned a little bit in other towns.
We know we made it as far out to Red Deer, so we're shout out to all our fans in Red Deer. Yeah,
Start local, go global.
exactly. Yeah, but like the cool, like when meeting these people, like we all have our own personal music projects. Like the three of us, we have a band together. I do some electronic bleep bloop stuff by myself, but like you get to meet people, and it's like we met at open mic, and now we're doing this project. Like for example, one of the comedians that comes up, Aiden, he's really good at putting words that rhyme together and mean something. So like for example, later this week I'm working on rap. Is that what they call it? Is that what the kids call it? Oh, okay.
The hip hop.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But so we get to do that. We've all met other cool musicians or creative people by doing this that help better our own side or our own music projects. Yeah, and then it's just it's all local, so everyone gets.
What's the most unique talent you think that you've seen beyond?
You're gonna say it?
Yeah. We have this one Australian dude that comes in, and we call him the August Rush guy because he puts his guitar on his lap, plays it sliding style, and just starts slapping the guitar and make it sound gorgeous.
I love that movie. I remember watching that, like a pirated copy of August Rush.
Yeah, he's incredible. He does
Bryce,
a lot of practice, a lot of hard work, and his ability.
Last Monday, or the last Monday that we had. He shows up, and it's just starting to get busy there, and he starts doing his thing, and the entire venue just goes silent. Like, usually when people are performing, like, people are continuing their conversation, stuff that, whatever. It's also a bar. But the entire, everybody within 50 feet of the Commodore just stopped and watched him, and he had everyone just entranced in his talent. It was incredible.
Yeah, and his name's Bryce, and he does some cool covers of what was the last one? He did it with you actually. But he plays it. He doesn't play the
Iris.
Yeah, they played Iris, and he played it really cool. He has some slides in there and stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, where can people find more information as we wrap things up?
So of course the Commodore's social media, their Facebook, their Instagram page.
Their address is down at 369 Victoria Street downtown. It's very open, very local, and it's very homey. Everyone feels welcome there.
And open mic is every Monday at 8:30 p.m.
8:30ish, yeah. It's off.
To about 1 a.m.
Yeah.
2 if it's really good.
Yeah. And then of course ourselves, like I posted on my social media, like on my personal page, then on my music page, I posted up reminding people. And then they also have their own Instagram page at Commie Open Mics, Commie Open Mic, I believe. And they're posting photos of the event or of what's going on, and letting people know.
Victor and Dino are very, very passionate about helping out everything that's going around. So it's a very family-oriented kind of feel there. It's great. Well, no, like not booze, but I mean like it's got this home feel, like kind of like Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Well, that's one thing I'd like to say too before we wrap this up is like for the Commodore, like the one thing that also separates it is that the staff behind it are 100% behind it. Like the the kitchen staff, the waiting staff, Victor and Dino, and was it Chris?
Steak tacos.
Oh, the steak tacos, man! Have you tried the steak tacos there? They're but yeah, like the staff, the ownership is behind this. We talk to each other somewhat frequently, like, how can we make this better? Blah blah.
They pitch into us. They pitch into the community. It's been really helpful.
They're doing it. They're doing it for musicians. Is the way. Like that's the vibe we get. The open mic I worked at before, you could tell they were just doing it because it was to make a buck. But this one's like, how do we get, creative people in Kamloops together?
Yeah, it's like its own subculture. Like I don't think there's any other open mic in town like us. Like it sticks out.
Shots, pop. It wouldn't be a bad thing to see a weird open mic war of who has bigger talent.
We go to a couple of the other ones. Like we've been to Pizza Pie one. That was also really cool. Yeah, like we've met the other people that host the other open mics, and it's just And yeah, like there's no rivalry. It's just like
Yeah.
you know, like we'll come to yours. Like, are you gonna come to ours? Like,
Oh,
Or
totally.
advertise.
Yeah.
We help each other out.
yeah, it's
I just think it's funny.
oh, yeah,
I think it's just a great meme of just having two open mics, like West Side Story.
A rock off.
yeah, we go down towards tumbleweeds, snapping our fingers. like,
Exactly.
what you doing? We're the original ones on Victoria Street. Victoria Street. There, bud, get off our turf now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for, thanks to me for meeting with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You're
Nevin.
welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for dealing with our scheduling BS.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in to Cameo Podcast. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. There's a little Patreon if you feel so inclined. And I lost my wallet, so I got to go find that now. So, cheers. Bye.